humanity. It is March 25th, 2019, and guess what? It's Mondays with Bev and Paul, and my name's Paul.
My name's Bev. Good morning.
We are having another great Monday. You know, I was just thinking as we were coming on, I really look forward to the Monday show.
I know. I do too. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I
so
like
we
it.
hope you're enjoying it as much as we are.
Well,
'Cause,
Party of two.
Party of two, that's right. And if you end up showing up here, just give a little comment to us, say hi, and we'll try to acknowledge you if I can go back and forth.
Right.
But we have a nice little show today. We have a great question. The question for today is, what is the risk of using BioTouch?
Very interesting question.
Yeah, we
isn't it?
figured that out from a little past article that was written years ago, almost decades ago, and we redid it and thought, oh, that's a great little conversation. But first, we wanted to share with you some of the things that happened in the past couple of weeks, and one of them was Bev's birthday party.
Oh, no, you. I can't believe you got that.
Sandy sent that to me, and I had to say it. So there we are. We celebrated Bev's birthday.
Yes, we did. It was
and
wonderful.
It was her
My
70th birthday party.
Goodness.
Yep, the wisdom of it. You can see the wisdom shooting out of her head.
My little pointed head.
So Bev does have a point in life.
I
and
do. There it is.
So that was a wonderful party,
Oh.
and happy birthday again. Your
Thank
son's
you.
still here, and
Yes.
your daughter was here.
I know. And my whole BioTouch family was
Yes.
there. It was amazing.
So it's this is it. This is the last day we're going to celebrate. Now you're
Yeah,
on your own.
I know. I'm done. Yeah.
And another thing we did in the past couple of weeks is we had a workshop up there with Howard, and that's Lois, one of our certified practitioners in the Phoenix area. And that was at the Center for Humane. It's not Human Living, Humane Living up there in Phoenix area. It's a martial arts school run by the two people in the middle, Michael and Lisa. And they actually are trying to bring martial arts for people, and they do it all on a donation basis.
I know. They're
And,
doing some
All these people here are black belts, and they all learned BioTouch.
Boy.
So healing is
Great.
happening in the Center for Humane Living. Howard is there doing sessions every Thursday night.
I know. That's so great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Howard.
Great little thing. So.
Mhm.
So let's get right to our question. Again, the question for today, what is the risk of using BioTouch?
Well,
Wow.
I know.
So what we want to do is read to you the dilemma of risk that we have in our manual. And we're going to show it to you, and you can read along with us. So here it is here. So this is in our manual called the dilemma.
And it says, to laugh is to risk appearing a fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach out for another is to risk involvement. To expose feelings is to risk rejection. To place your dreams before the crowd is to risk ridicule. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To go forward in the face of overwhelming odds is to risk failure.
But risks must be taken, because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, is nothing.
He may avoid suffering and sorrow, but he cannot learn, feel, change, grow, or love. Chained by his certitudes, he is a slave. He has forfeited his freedom. Only a person who takes risks is free.
Yeah.
That is such a, I know it's anonymous,
Right.
but I sure would like to meet the person that wrote that.
Well, maybe it was written by all humanity.
Maybe that's why it needs to be anonymous, because that's kind of like who we are, isn't it?
And we have people all the time, and this came about, again, because the article talks about the question people have for us all the time. Do you have to touch on the skin? Do you have to touch another human being? Can you do this on yourself? You know, and where can I go to have it done? You know, and so this whole idea of touching on the skin just seems to be such a paranoia. There's like, oh no. I mean, I remember when we first started out there in Mancos 30 years ago, and we started an organization, and we opened up a center to have people come into the center, remove their shirt or their blouse. Women will leave a bathing suit top on or their bra, and touch. And people were like freaked out. Oh, you can't do that. That's going to be against the law. And I remember saying then, oh my God, if I can't do this, then forget it. I'm not. I have. It was sort of taking a risk, taking that chance of, this was more important than the paranoia of touching another human being.
Well, and maybe it's more important than the pain and suffering that we're going through.
Yeah.
I mean, to take a risk. Well, and what that does is it brings us into vulnerability. We feel vulnerable, and then with all of this, I mean, let's face it. There's like you said, it's a paranoid attitude about touching each other. So, I look at BioTouch and I just look at humanity right now, and I see that we have gotten ourselves to the point where we feel separated from each other. We're all in fear. Touch is just one of the things that we're in fear about, and we're going against our grain by doing that, because as you and I have said many times, and we all have come into kind of a consciousness about, is that our innate nature is love and unity. So we're fighting against ourselves here.
And to show how innate it is, there we go.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, there is the beauty of touch. That was at a workshop that Chiara just did on Saturday. And there's Mom and Chiara showing Mom how to do the greeting. And look at that face of being touched.
Oh my gosh. When I saw that, are you kidding?
Yes. So there's vulnerability. We all love that kind of touch. We love feeling cared for. We love that, and we need that for our healing. You can take all the pills you want, you can take all the medications, you can take all the operations, but you know something? That right there is probably the most healing thing we can do in conjunction with all that other stuff.
Right.
But that's where the healing happens.
Oh my gosh.
That's the vulnerability, and that's why it's so important that we get BioTouch out to the families.
It's interesting when I look at that picture. We've often said, or I have at least, that BioTouch brings us to a point of being a child, trusting, feeling safe, feeling vulnerable, and that's really who we are. We're, in many ways, we're children trying to play nicely together.
Right. And BioTouch is that opportunity to do that. And, I was just talking to Jenny yesterday. This is not about, we're not trying to create an institution around BioTouch. We're not trying to create an institution that you have to believe this or believe that. We get into a lot of philosophical stuff here sometimes and, trying to make sense of it ourselves. But it's not about having to believe any of that. Yeah. It's not about even having to believe in self-awareness or in the concept of love thy neighbor. It's just about taking the two fingers and doing it without any thought, without any belief, without any intention, without any expectation, and allowing each person that experiences it to have their own experience. And the experience is just reaching out and touching another human being on the skin.
Right.
Let's show you why we found that to be true in our research. We did a research project with Gary Schwartz and some psychology students, freshmen, and they learned the technique, went home, taught somebody else, and they did 3 ways of doing BioTouch. Mm-hmm. Through the clothes, off the body, and directly on the skin. And here's what some of the results were. So the first one was stress. So you can see non-contact cloth conditions and then BioTouch right on the skin. And here's where the stress levels were before. And here the dotted line was after. And you can see there was a drop in stress in all directions. But look at the huge difference in the stress, the reduction in stress on the skin.
And what did Gary say? Skin wins.
Skin wins. And here
Yeah.
was another thing, feeling cared for. The
Oh.
interesting thing here is the great difference in feeling cared for pre and post session. Of course, there was a big change, but even if it was at the 4 level, there was just a huge change in on the skin feeling cared for. And interestingly enough, non-contact, there was a less feeling of cared for.
Right. Well, you're not, yeah.
So skin, that's how we were born into the world.
Oh my gosh. And we all share it. We all have it.
Yes. I went and saw a presentation by Jade Beal. She's done the photography that's gone global now of women breastfeeding in their naked bodies with the children. And now she's moving into creating a book about the elders and trying to honor the body for what it is and not what it's photoshopped to be. And trying to create another dialogue, not saying any dialogue is wrong, but that there's another dialogue which is accepting these bodies for what they are. That's the risk.
And that's what BioTouch does for us, right?
Yes.
Oh.
There are no levels. It doesn't matter who that other person is. It doesn't matter what the body looks like. And when you do that greeting, those 2 fingers at the end of that breastbone, you meet people in that equality. It's one of the best expressions of love thy neighbor that I've ever seen without having to have a belief system.
Yeah, and no words.
Yes, no words. It's
No
just
words.
doing it. And it reminds me of that CIA agent. Talk about a risk. When we first started this foundation and that CIA agent said, I've been involved in a lot of revolutions, but I've never seen one as powerful as this because this one's based on love.
I love that because that's such a profound thing to just remind us of, and that's what needs to happen right now. We need to have a revolution. I know some people say, no, let's have a spiritual revolution. Let's have this. Let's just, I think we're all ready to have this peaceful revolution of love that basically is just addressing everything that we already are. And it's just time for it to, that's the risk. I'm thinking, well, why not? Because we've tried it the other way.
Right.
And look where we are. So why don't we just try love? BioTouch is one of those amazing ways for us to get in touch with all of that. Pardon the pun, but it's true.
Pardon the pun, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can buy a car based on love, why not do a little touch?
You got a point there. Yeah.
So take the 2 fingers, reach out and touch someone. The greeting is, like we said, we have this 21-day challenge, just doing the greeting for 21 days and someone doing it to you. And if you don't have somebody at home, picture them. How long does it take again? 30 seconds. Can we take a risk? Can we take one little step and risk touching another human being for 30 seconds?
I say yes.
Yes, let's try it. Okay, and let's try and always remember that we're teaching you how to do BioTouch in these Monday shows. And today we have probably a great one that's to do.
I think it's timely.
And we're going to show you how to do the sinus set since there's all this nice little pollen floating around. And then we'll be right back with you.
The sinus set may be used to address any conditions affecting the sinuses. To begin step 1, first locate hold point X by following the bone right behind the ear down to its tip at the bottom of the skull and sliding the fingers back slightly. X is the flat area just behind the tip of the bone at the base of the skull. Step 1 is performed in crossfire, so hold at X on one side of the head and touch points 1 through 3 on the opposite side of the head. Point 1 is just above the eyebrow where the brow and nose meet. Point 2 is the most prominent point of the cheekbone below the outside corner of the eye. Point 3 is below the inside corner of the eye where the nose and the cheek meet. Now find hold point X on the other side of the head and again in crossfire touch point 1 just above the eyebrow where the brow and nose meet. Point 2, the most prominent point of the cheekbone below the outside corner of the eye. and point 3 just below the inside corner of the eye where the nose and cheek meet. Step 2. In matching fire, touch points 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, and X and X.
All right.
Sinus set. Powerful.
Just do it. Take a risk. Try it. You got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
You got nothing to lose. You know, you talked about vulnerability, and I've been seeing a lot of people posting things and opening up about their own feelings and their own lessons in their own life, you know, and very deep lessons and very much in tears. And it's just really nice to see people being open and vulnerable and allowing themselves to be loved. And BioTouch, you know, is a statement of letting ourselves be loved.
Yeah.
You know, just it's if we would just let ourselves be loved for a moment, I think healing can happen at so many levels.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, you know, love, really, think about it. Love is the great healer. When you're in love and loving yourself, and, you know, you start letting those things in. So, yeah.
So let's reach out and touch one another and learn how to do BioTouch. You can go to our website, justtouch.com. It's down there at the bottom. We also have classes in it. We have a great workshop coming up this Thursday with Dr. Lance Morris, naturopathic physician here in Tucson. And we're going to talk about asthma.
Wow. That's
6 to 8 p.m. here in Tucson. Massage therapists can receive 2 CE credits. So please join us for that. If you can't be here in Tucson, it will be live streamed.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And posted, so you can join us that way. It's this whole live streaming has become a real boon for us.
It's great. I know. Yeah.
So anything else that you'd like to say, post it here about what you think taking a risk means.
Yeah.
And please, we have brought BioTouch into your home. It's a gift that all families should open now. Just untie the ribbon, let it come out like a jack-in-the-box.
Oh, that's kind of a...
And it just bounces
I
around,
know.
And all you have to do is touch. And just remember, you know, if it's good enough for the babies,
Oh.
it's good enough for all of you out there too. So that was another Monday with Bev Paul.
Goodness.
So thank you very much for joining us.
Yes.
And we'll see you all next week, yeah?
Have a wonderful week.
The sinus set may be used.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want